Don't we, for a change? Okay, I hope everyone's well. Have we any apologies for absence?
None, Chair.
Okay. Can I sign the published record of the meeting of the 29th of January as a true record? Thank you. We have, just to remind members of section 106, it's on the agenda, and also disclosures of interest, and I believe you've got one, Tom? Okay. We've got business not covered by the current forward plan general exception, and it's item 1 on the agenda, shared ownership policy, Tom.
Part of our manifesto commitment, for many years we've been looking at shared ownership, trying to get it down to a figure what was affordable. Thanks to Claire and a lot of the housing staff, we managed to get it down to 10% equity, and with the rest of it, it'll be affordable just within housing benefit levels. And the first number will be on Buckle Close on Marsh Farm. It'll be hopefully for key workers of the council. The rest of the council needs to identify who those key workers are, so we can get advertising over the next few months to those key workers, see if they want to take it up. If not, it'll be available to people off the general waiting list before anybody else. To say the nice bit about it is, instead of 25 or 50% equity, we've managed to get it down to 10%. With 10% on your mortgage repayments, it'll be just over £800 a month, which is less than people are paying in the private sector at the moment in Luton.
Okay.
So I'll move it.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Are there any questions from anybody? We happy to support? Thank you very much. We now move on to item 5. That is a reference from scrutiny, but it's in the private sector of our reports this evening. Number 6, we've no scrutiny reviews, no petitions. So we're on to business items, children's, families and education services, item 8. Over to yourself, Javeria.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. So we're asking Executive this evening to recommend, is recommended to approve the 2025-2026 admission arrangements for community schools as set out in Appendix A to the report. The Council, as the admissions authority for community schools, is required to determine its admission arrangements each year. The admission arrangements for academic year 2025 to 2026 are the same as those determined for the previous academic year, that's 2024 to 2025, only that the timetable this time around has been updated. The Council previously consulted on its admissions arrangements last academic year, and did not receive any objections.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Be happy to approve? Thank you. We now move on to item 9, and that is the LBC Corporate Performance Plan.
Thank you, Chair. The Corporate Performance Report compiles and presents both quarterly and annual service data, which allows performance to be monitored and discussed at CLMT, overview and scrutiny, and executive prior to the headlines being published to staff and citizens. The summary, there are 39 measures which are green, 11 are amber and 13 are red, which shows that overall performance is good and improvement. The highlights of this quarter are antisocial behaviour cases relative to the size of the landlord. Q2 figure of 3.9 is lower than the quarterly target 14.4, which indicates good performance. The number of homeless relief is on track to meet the annual target 241, with 102 in Q2. The number of homeless households allocated a permanent offer through the housing register Q2 figure of 55 is above the quarterly target of 53. The number of affordable new homes completed Q2 figure of 46 is above the quarterly target 25. Complaints relative to the size of the landlord stage 1 and stage 2 are lower than the quarterly target, which indicate good performance. The number of London Luton Airport passengers Q2 is above the quarterly target. Timeliness of benefits, new claims and changes are both within target levels. Timeliness of council tax reduction charges Q2 is within target levels. Adult social care, financial assessments, debt recovery is on target. Adult social care, financial assessments, timeline to process charges Q2 figure is within target levels. The number supported or with discretionary housing payments is within target levels. The amount awarded with the household support grant is within target levels. The percentage of attendance in state-funded primary and secondary schools is 91.7%, are both on target. The percentage of children attending good and outstanding schools, primary, secondary and special, including looked after children, are all on target. The percentage of our stats compliance completed with timescales are within target levels. The percentage of corporate stat compliance completed within timescales are on target. The amount of tax collected in millions is 54.6, 66.9 is on target. ASCOF adults in contact with secondary mental health service or in employment Q2 figure is above the quarterly target. Council tax billing, a percentage of work outstanding over 15 days Q2 figure is on target. Employment in Luton, number of jobs, labour force survey, including self-employed, increased from 9,700 in Q1 to 10,160 in Q2. Sorry, 101,600 in Q2 from 97,400. The number of apprenticeship starts rose from 6 in Q1 to 28 in Q2. If this rate of increase continued, then the year-end figure will meet the target of 5% increase from the previous year. Total business rate due and total business rate collected is 55.3% is within target. I recommend the report to the executive, and if there's any questions, there are officers here, hopefully, to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Are there any questions from anybody? Are you happy to agree with the report? Thank you. Move on to item 10, and the revenue budget and capital programme.
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this report is to provide the final revenue budget and capital programme for consideration and endorsement by the executive, so it can be recommended to full council on the 19th of February 2024. Since the report was presented on the 15th of January 2024, there was a late announcement by DLUC with an additional grant amounting to 500 million. Luton's share was 1.64 million to cover significant budget pressures in social care faced by the councils throughout the country. With regards to the council's current budget, the latest Q3 position is showing additional pressures in children's services, including transport and adult social care. To deal with the latest increase in costs and demands, the additional grant has been allocated to children and adult services, equally, i.e. £820,000 each. This has no impact on the net budget requirement and the proposed increase in council tax. There are a few budget realignment, mainly capital finance and support and service costs, which are not significant, and the revenue budget now includes the final figure of the schools and the precept from presenting authorities. The net budget requirement amounting to 167.4 million remains unchanged.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before the council and the executive, are there any questions? No? We agree for that to go to council. Thank you. Move to item 11, the Treasury Management Strategy.
Okay. Again, the Treasury Management Strategy was introduced into the executive a few weeks ago. I'm just going to go through changes since the last time we presented the report. The executive and full council are required by legislation to consider and approve strategies for both Treasury management and investment every year. One of the changes, there was a planned heavy schedule of capital investment worth 403 million over the next 3 years, which includes the stage, the Luff project, the dualling of Vauxhall Way and many other projects delivering the Luton 2040 vision. Borrowing is planned to increase over the same 3-year period by 255 million to 1.079 million from the current forecast as of 1st of April 2004. The previous figure mentioned was 419 million that we mentioned last time in the last presentation to the executive. The difference is the cancelled projects made mainly the Luff Leagrave Lucy redevelopment, which was £14 million. Please note in paragraph 11D, a new item is added regarding disinvestment in institutions which are or have links to companies that create and sell arms to governments around the world. We do have an amendment on that tonight, which I'd like to hand out to the members, if I may.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. The Palestine Solidarity Campaign has uncovered the local government pension fund investments worth of over 4.6 billion in companies complicit in Israel's grave violations of international law and human rights. They're also concerned that a government bill that might be coming through very shortly that's going to stop councils from having this sort of disinvestment against Israel. So we want to make this part of the Treasury management strategy. So at the end of paragraph 112, this includes investments in companies that appear on United Nations Human Rights Office list of enterprise undertaking specified activities in Israel's illegal settlements. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from anyone? No? Everybody okay with that and the amendment? Thank you very much. We move on to item 12, the Highways Capital Works Programme.
Thank you, Chair. The Executive is recommended to approve the proposed 2024-25 work programme for integrated transport, highway maintenance and street lighting. This is a 5-year programme as set out in the appendices in the report. This is the 24th annual report to the Executive, the work programme for integrated transport, highway maintenance and street lighting. This report details a 5-year programme highway capital works and seeks approval to implement the programme in 2024-25. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions to anybody? No? Happy to approve? Thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
As part of this work, I'm looking over at Tom. Can we ensure that on some of these roads that we have some joint up working that we look to see whether we can do while we've got the traffic orders in place? We look to clean the road gully drains and also the pavements. I think that's an important one because we've paid for the TR. The road's closed. There's no cars now. I think we've had a number of occasions where we've gone and tried to do the work, and because of irresponsible residents not moving their cars, we've had to abandon that work. And I think this is a good opportunity to link that together.
Hi, yeah, I'm Mark Aronson, Interim Service Manager for Highways. Yeah, we'll definitely take that on board. We deal with the gullies as a matter of course when we close the roads, do resurfacing, but we'll take the opportunity to do some street cleansing, deep cleans as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that, and any weeding that we can do as part of that. Yeah, but also, can we also include TROs to have the option to remove vehicles if people are persistent? So every TRO going forward for these roads must give us that ability to be able to lift cars if people choose to ignore, because we don't want a situation where we have to cancel work.
Yeah, currently temporary traffic orders. If you have to write in the temporary traffic orders and no waiting, we can write those into all our temporary traffic orders. It's not a problem. We can remove vehicles.
That's brilliant. So we got the whole lot there. Yes. Okay. Any questions from anybody else? No? Happy to approve? Thank you. Item 13, Fatima.
Thank you, Hazel. The purpose of this report is to request approval to direct award a two-year contract to 3 of our existing providers, Mary Seacole, Signpost and Squared. The cost of this direct award is $582,181 per year for all 3 providers. This includes an increase of 24 to 25, which will be proportionately applied across all 3 providers after further negotiations. These providers have provided a safe and secure place to live for our single homeless residents of Luton for many years, empowering and supporting people into independent living. They currently support 190 individuals, some of which who are deemed very vulnerable. Homelessness is a significant and growing problem in Luton. Since 2021, we have seen the amount of referrals for this service double. High levels of additional health and social needs, some of which are multifactored, are also being demonstrated in those accessing this service. In order to improve the health and well-being of these individuals, avoid increased rough sleeping, high cost for accommodation, and increased demand for the wider health sector and care sector, it is essential we retain these services. Direct awarding to these providers for 2 years will enable them to continue to support those individuals maintaining the current situation whilst full transformation work on the Council's approach to reducing homelessness is undertaken. Okay. Therefore, I request the executive to I asked executive to approve 2-year direct award for a new contract with our existing accommodation-based housing related support services. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Are there any questions? Happy to agree? Thank you. Right, move over to the HRA budget report, Tom.
Yes, Chair. You see the rent increase is 7.7%. I wish it wasn't, but they're the government guidelines, and if we didn't put it that much, it'd affect the capital programme too much. In years past, we have gone below the government guidelines, but on this occasion, 2/3 of our tenants, it wouldn't affect because they're already in receipt of housing benefits, so they'll get it covered. The 1/3 what isn't will be affected, but I think it's ultra important that if you go to page 3 or 4, we keep the carbon reduction work going, we keep the energy efficiency work going, so we can help those people with their bills by helping them. Hopefully, the rent increase won't affect them too much. 50p on garages and service charges for shelter schemes frozen for this year. The simple reason, last year we had Bob Mahmood Hussain and Dave Taylor did an in-depth investigation into shelter schemes for us, and we found out we don't need to put the service charge up this year. I'm not saying it won't go up next year, but there's no reason to increase it this year. And in the next few weeks, councillors Steer and Hussain are going to be going around looking at all service charges in all accommodation for us, all the flats and everything else, just to make sure people are getting value for money. So it's 7.7%, which I didn't have to do, but the capital programme and the HRA capital programme are also important to get people's bills down at 7.7%. I won't be upsetting the government, and we can keep the capital programme going. I'd be quite happy to upset the government, but the capital programme is more important this year. So it's 7.7, 50p on garages, no increase on service charges or shelter schemes, and the same rent on the caravan side, the traveller side, going up the same 7.7% for everybody.
Thank you, Tom. Are there any questions? No? Happy to approve? Okay. May I take the regulation for